2020 National Electrical Code Section 300.4 addresses general requirements for wiring methods and materials, stating that raceways, cable trays, cable bus, and enclosure shall not be used as a means of support for luminaires, fixtures, or other equipment. Suspending a wire tray below joist may introduce several potential issues. Firstly, structural integrity could be compromised. The added weight of the wire tray and its cables can place additional stress on the flow system. Secondly, fire safety is a concern because cables in an open wire tray could become exposed to flames during a fire, potentially increasing the risk of fire spread. Thirdly, access and maintenance may be hindered. If wires need to be accessed or maintained, doing so with a tray suspended below the joists might prove difficult. Acceptable alternatives exist that comply with electrical codes and address the customer's concerns. One alternative is to install a surface raceway along the floor joist to route wires. These raceways can be mounted directly to the side of the joist using screws or nails. Another option is to use cable staples to secure wires directly to the joists. The staples should be spaced according to the manufacturer's specifications and the NEC requirements. If the customer wants to avoid any holes in the joists, consider running the wires through a protected conduit. The conduit can be mounted to the side of the joist using straps or clips. In summary, avoid suspending a wire tray below floor joists due to potential structural, safety, and accessibility issues. Instead, consider using surface raceways, cable staples, or protected conduit as code-compliant alternatives. It is crucial to discuss these options with the customer to find a solution that meets their needs while adhering to electrical codes. When installing electrical wiring, it's essential to adhere to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and local building codes to ensure safety and compliance. There are several factors to consider when deciding on the best wiring method. Let's discuss these factors in more detail. Firstly, think about the type of wiring. The type of wiring that is being installed is a primary consideration. Different types of cables, such as non-metallic sheathed cable, often referred to as an M cable or Romex, armored cable, which is often referred to as SE cable, and individual wires and conduit, have different installation requirements and restrictions. Secondly, consider the environment. The environment in which the wiring will be installed is another crucial factor. Wet, damp, or corrosive environments require special wiring methods and materials that are designed to withstand these conditions. For example, underground wiring needs to be direct burial rated or installed in a conduit approved for underground use. Thirdly, consider the building structure. The building's construction type, whether it is wood frame, steel frame, or concrete, will influence the wiring methods that can be used. Drilling and notching of structural members, such as joists and studs, may be limited or prohibited by building codes to maintain structural integrity. Electrical codes often impose restrictions on drilling or notching structural members, such as wood joists or studs, to prevent weakening the building's structural integrity. These restrictions typically specify the maximum size and location of holes or notches. It is important to consult local building codes and engineering guidelines for specific requirements. The NEC provides guidelines for protecting wiring from physical damage. Section 300.4 addresses protection against physical damage, requiring wiring to be protected from damage during and after installation. This can be achieved through various methods, such as using conduit, raceways, or protective coverings. It is important to choose wiring methods and materials that provide adequate protection against physical damage, especially in areas where the wiring may be exposed to impact or abrasion. Consider the ampacity and voltage drop. The ampacity of the wiring must be sufficient to carry the intended electrical load, while voltage drop must be kept within acceptable limits to ensure proper equipment operation. The NEC provides tables and guidelines for determining the appropriate wire size based on the ampacity requirements and voltage drop calculations. It is crucial to carefully calculate the electrical load and select wiring that meets these requirements. Regarding support and securing, wiring must be properly supported and secured to prevent strain on connections and to maintain its position over time. The NEC specifies the maximum spacing between supports for various wiring methods. Proper support and securing not only ensure the long-term reliability of the wiring, but also prevents hazards such as sagging or entanglement. Another thing to consider is accessibility and maintenance. Wiring should be installed in a manner that allows for easy access for future maintenance and repairs. Junction boxes, splices, and other connection points should be readily accessible. Proper labeling of circuits and wiring can also aid in troubleshooting and maintenance. Compliance with fire safety is important. Wiring installations must comply with fire safety requirements to minimize the risk of fire and to prevent the spread of fire in the event of an electrical fault. The NEC specifies requirements for fire stopping, fire-resistant cables, and the installation of wiring and fire-rated assemblies. It is important to use appropriate fire-rated materials and to follow the NEC guidelines to ensure fire safety. Lastly, one must be aware of local codes and regulations. Electrical installations must comply with all applicable local codes and regulations, which may be more stringent than the NEC requirements. It is important to consult with local authorities and to obtain necessary permits before starting any electrical work. Proper planning and coordination with other trades are also essential to ensure a successful and code-compliant installation. Alternative wiring methods to drilling through joists include surface-mounted raceways, running cables along the joists, using existing pathways, and conduit systems. Let's discuss surface-mounted raceways. Surface-mounted raceways offer a flexible solution for routing cables without penetrating structural members. These raceways are typically made of metal or plastic and can be easily mounted to the surface of walls or ceilings using screws or adhesive. They provide a protective channel for cables, keeping them organized and out of sight. Surface-mounted raceways are available in a variety of sizes and styles to accommodate different cable types and installation requirements. Running cables along the joists is an option. Cables can be run parallel to the joists, either on top or along the sides, without drilling through them. This method can be used for both horizontal and vertical runs, providing a neat and organized appearance. Cables should be secured to the joist using cable ties or clamps at regular intervals to prevent sagging or movement. Using existing pathways is another option. In some cases, existing pathways, such as those used for plumbing or HVAC systems, can be utilized to route cables. This can eliminate the need for drilling new holes and minimize disruption to the building structure. However, it is important to ensure that the cables are properly protected and supported and that they do not interfere with the operation of other systems. Conduit systems are another great option. Conduit systems offer a durable and versatile solution for protecting and routing cables. Conduit can be made of metal or plastic and can be installed either exposed or concealed within walls or ceilings. Conduit systems provide excellent protection against physical damage, moisture, and other environmental factors. They also allow for easy access and maintenance of cables. Let's discuss some additional considerations. First, one must ensure proper support and securing of cables. Regardless of the wiring method used, it is important to properly support and secure cables to prevent strain on connections and to maintain their position over time. Cables should be supported at regular intervals using cable ties, clamps, or other approved methods. Proper support and securing not only ensure the long-term reliability of the wiring, but also prevent hazards such as sagging or entanglement. And of course, one must comply with the NEC and local codes. All electrical installations must comply with the NEC and local codes to ensure safety and compliance. It is important to consult with local authorities and to obtain necessary permits before starting any electrical work. Proper planning and coordination with other trades are also essential to ensure a successful and code-compliant installation. When selecting a wiring method, it is important to consider factors such as the type of wiring, the environment, the building structure, and the need for protection against physical damage. Alternative wiring methods to drilling through joists include surface-mounted raceways, running cables along the joists using existing pathways, and conduit systems. By following these guidelines and consulting with qualified professionals, it is possible to install electrical wiring safely and in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations.